Would you like to play a minigame?
Minigames. Yeah, I know that's a dirty word with some of the wrestling games community. But in this particular video, we're not talking about the little party games that you play when you need a break from the main game. We're talking about actual mini games within a wrestling game. So basically what I wanted to do in this video is just kind of test the waters and kind of see how you guys felt about actual wrestling mini games. You know, the things like chain wrestling and working holds and test of strength. The things that we once had in the games and now not so much. Do you guys miss those things, or are you glad that they're gone? And if you are indeed a fan of these kind of mini games, which ones do you miss most and would like to see make a return in the series? Or better yet, what is something that they have not implemented that you would like to personally see them implement in future iterations of the WWE 2K series? So without further ado, man, let's talk about it. Now, it is no secret that this series has seen quite a few features come and go over its lifetime. The chain wrestling and working hold system seems to be the latest victim of the good old WWE budget cut and future endeavor. And if I could be honest, man, I feel some kind of way about this because these kind of gameplay features are essentially what makes the game feel more like a legitimate wrestling experience. I think this is one aspect of the game where I feel like 2K could never quite figure it out in terms of delivering authentic professional wrestling gameplay. To keep things simple, when it comes to the gameplay, these games need to be professional wrestling first and everything else second. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and jump into some of the mini games and features that I feel like need to make a return to this series. Since we already mentioned this one earlier in the video, I'm going to go ahead and get it out the way, and that's going to be chain wrestling. Simply put, chain wrestling is a fundamental part of wrestling, and it absolutely needs to be in the game. Not only should it return, but it needs to be expanded upon drastically. I mean, there are many different styles to account for, as well as many different chain wrestling sequences. Not to mention the majority of matches begin with some form of chain wrestling, or a back and forth exchange resulting in one wrestler gaining the upper hand. So this feature needs to make a return ASAP. Another inexcusable omission. Just like with chain wrestling, working holds are a fundamental part of wrestling. There are just certain things that as a wrestling sim you simply cannot overlook. So not only does this feature need to make a return, but it also needs to be expanded upon as well. I feel like there are a bunch of different submissions that could also be used as resting holds, not to mention incorporating standing as well as kneeling resting holds. So I'm sure we can all agree there is some definite room for improvement with this feature, but for right now, we just need it back in the game. This is a feature that has been so poorly executed and so half-assed that it may as well not be even considered in the game. I'm gonna seriously need 2K to go ahead and strap on their other butt cheek, man, and do this one justice. There should be a crap ton of moves that allow us to crawl or move towards the ropes in some way. Now, I already covered this in another video, my submission video on my channel to be exact. So if you haven't, go ahead and check that one out. Like if you want a little more detail about how I feel about this. But for right now, we just need a real crawling system, one that does this game justice. And while we're at it, and I know this is not necessarily considered a mini game, but I just wanted to go ahead and address this because it does tie into the whole crawling and rope break feature. And this is arguably the most embarrassing exclusion of all. And that is the lack of a 5 count. And I mean this with all due respect, but like 2K, Visual Concepts, Mr. Jinx, like, can I call you Lionel, sir? Like, what are we doing right now, man? Like, seriously, how do you not have a 5 count in this game? It is literally a fundamental rule in a professional wrestling match. And I hate to say it, but it's stuff like this that leads me to the belief that the gameplay design team and even the creative director are not fans of wrestling, nor do they watch it. And I get it. As a former game design student myself, I know that you don't have to always love the games that you work on, but I feel you should at least care enough to get the foundational things right. I feel like this is another foundational minigame that should be in, as it happens all the time in professional wrestling. I mean, it goes by many different names, whether you call it a strike battle, a slugfest, chop battles, fighting spirit. These are the spots where wrestlers take turns exchanging strikes in an attempt to get their upper hand on their opponent. And again, because it's something that appears so often, I feel like this should be a fundamental feature in the game. And while we're on this topic, I would like to give an honorable mention to top rope battles. More often than not, when we see wrestlers attempt a superplex, a lot of times a little small mini battle will happen before that move actually happens. I think it would be kind of cool if we had a little mini game to decide the outcome of those battles as well. I know this one might sound a little crazy, but I actually think it would be pretty dope if they could pull it off. If a player has no vitality, meaning that his energy bar is completely blacked out, I think it should trigger a pass out mini game. And basically what happens in this, your wrestler will appear to have blacked out. At that point, the ref will come and hold your hand up. From there, you have one shot to hit the escape sweet spot. If you manage to be successful, then you'll escape the hold. But if not, then we'll get the pass out animation instead of a tap out. Now, this is not a new concept because we did see something like this in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. However, the differences lie in the way that this is triggered. Just think it would be a nice little touch to add some variety to the submission gameplay. While I do like the Dragon Carry system, I do miss some of those old interactions that came with the Ultimate Control system. The Dragon Carry system is basically just a light version of the Ultimate Control, but Ultimate Control just allowed for so much more functionality. I miss being able to perform actions like dragging guys to the bottom rope and being able to choke them on the bottom rope, or slamming their leg into the ring post, and even choking them out with the monitor cables by the announce table. The amount of creativity and freedom you had really went a long way. I would just love to see some of that return. So there you have it. These are the top mini games that I personally would like to see make a return to this series. Do me a favor, man. Y'all post down below in the comments what mini games would you guys like to see return, if any. And if you have any ideas of your own, please do not hesitate to share them. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. God bless. I truly, truly appreciate y'all being here. Do me a favor, if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Hit the thumbs up because it really helps the channel. Until next time, I'll holler at y'all later.